The M1 MacBook Air is an incredible laptop, but who knows when software support's gonna die for this thing. Thankfully though, macOS isn't your only option when it comes to this laptop. Using this project developed by people who have way too much time on their hands, we can actually run Linux on this. Linux on Apple Silicon. Asahi Linux aims to bring you a polished Linux experience on Apple Silicon Macs. Okay, hey guys, you got an error here. Polished and Linux are mutually exclusive. Or maybe I'm just being too quick to judge. Let's take a look at our device support. Okay, so for the MacBook Air M1 and M2, everything pretty much works, except for USB-C displays, which is kind of a deal breaker in my opinion. At least when it comes to my use case. I use my MacBook Pro M4 as like my main desktop replacement, so I'm not stoked about that, but if you're only going to use this as like a laptop, I guess it's fine. You know what, I'm going to stop yapping and just get hands-on with this. This installer will guide you through the process of setting up Asahi Linux on your Mac. Please make sure you're familiar with the documentation at, where? Oh, it's my terminal theme that's messing it up. The link's actually right here. You know, I think I'm familiar enough, okay? I know what a sudo does. Partitions and system disk. Okay, so we got our main 512 gig volume, and we've got our 5 gig system recovery one, which I don't think I've ever used. Choose what to do. Resize an existing partition to make space for a new OS. Okay, perfect. Enter the new size for your existing partition. We can enter in a gigabyte value or a percentage. I do actually want to try to run some games on this thing, so we'll just give it half. Choose what to do. F to install an OS. Alright, yeah, we're gonna do that. And now we got choose an OS to install. We got Fedora with KDE Plasma, with GNOME, Server, and Minimal. It's kind of hard to choose, man. I like both DEs. Actually, I want to use the desktop environment that the developers themselves use, so what is it? We are proud to offer KDE Plasma as our flagship desktop environment. Alright, well that's the one I'm going with then. Enter a name for your OS. Name for your OS. I'm original. And after that script finishes, we're told to do one more step, and we gotta pay attention, because if we don't, our Mac is bricked. Oh no, I don't really have a track record for reading well. Isn't it kind of weird they don't warn you about this before you run the script, but whatever, I guess it's too far now. When the system shuts down, follow these steps. Wait 25 seconds for it to turn off, press and hold down the power button to turn it on. Then release the power button once you see loading startup options, wait for the volume list, choose a name for your OS, then continue through the macOS recovery to bring up the Asahi Linux installer. Alright then, let's see what happens. I probably should have written that down, actually. Alright, it's been 25 seconds, so we hold this button down, we wait for the startup options. Is that a good time to release it? Okay, now we pick our hilarious name. Now we have to authenticate through recovery. And, oh, it's running like step 2 of the installer. You will see some messages advising you that you're changing the security level of your system. The security level of your Mac OS install will not be affected. Okay, sure, let's continue then. And then, as expected, we're greeted with this big, scary warning from Apple. Ooh, don't use this in a production environment. Yeah, well, guess what, Apple? Too bad. You should have made Half-Life bootable on this thing. It's still bugging me. Are you sure you want to do this? Calm down, man. I'm not installing Windows. And now, finally, installation complete. If I remember correctly, that was the end of the instructions, so it should just be booting into Linux now, right? Oh, there you go. Welcome to Plasma Desktop. Begin setup. Dude, the scaling is kind of way off. Keyboard layout, dark theme. Yes, please. So much better. Okay, now we create our user account, connect to our Wi-Fi network, and now we can enjoy our furry operating system. I mean, I say that, but I know his name is Conky. First things first on the lock screen, I'm really glad they have the old options, like before they removed that with, I think it was Big Sur. Oh shit, I just hit shut down. God damn it. Okay, that's pretty embarrassing, but I was gonna say, I like how they're like easy to reach to shut down the system easier. I guess that's one way to test the reboot time, and the thing's really fast. It took less than like 8 seconds. But anyways, let's actually log in this time. Dude, this is fast. Find great apps. I wonder how many of these are like compiled for ARM64. We'll find that out later. Enjoy it. Yeah, there's one thing I'm gonna change before I can. I'm guessing the command key is like the start button here, right? Yeah, first things first, we gotta fix the scaling here. Let's turn this up to 175. So much better. You know, I hate to get into this complaining a bunch, but the first thing I'm noticing here is that the gestures, like multitask, they're just not working here. Is there support for that, or? I mean, I can definitely customize things here that I couldn't on Mac OS, like the scrolling speed, but I'm not seeing any gestures here, which kinda sucks. But because we're on Linux, we could probably find some weird way to fix it. I actually figured out in Screen Edges, if you go into the corner, this is the exact kind of thing I'm looking for. So we just need to figure out how to bind a, what is this? Overview to the touchpad. Oh, okay, so it's a 4-finger gesture. I should have figured. You know, I'm actually really impressed with the animations here. It feels just as fluid as Mac OS. That kind of experience right there just sums up Linux in general. It's a bit weird at first, but once you learn how to work it, it's actually not that bad. I'm really interested in the App Store for this thing though, so let's do some upgrades and take a look at it. You got Firefox, VLC, GIMP, Chromium. OBS is on here, that's pretty cool. You got Bottles, LibreOffice, Kdenlive, and there's a bunch of other various apps here, but is Steam available? Playing Steam games on this would be so cool. Oh, it's not in this repo. There's gotta be some way to get Steam working on ARM, though. I've heard a bunch about it. Did some research, and I found this thread on Reddit with this scripted a GitHub link. I know this isn't the smartest thing to do, but I'm gonna download it and run it. Let's see what happens. Let it install these dependencies. Alright, what now? There is this curl command here, which I guess I'll use instead. And that one also fails, so I just searched DNF for Steam, and it seems like we got something here. Alright, I guess I'll try sudo DNF install Steam. Wait a sec, is it gonna launch like the ARM64 version, or is it gonna be like the, I don't know, the x86 one? I didn't think the Steam launcher was actually doing anything, it just kind of looked like it was stuck, so I launched it again from the terminal, and turns out, yeah, it's doing some updates, I better be patient. Okay, fun update, it's now 5 hours later. I've been troubleshooting this fucking Steam wrapper for the past 5 hours, and nothing I do works. I reinstalled the operating system twice. I switched to GNOME to try to isolate the issue, and turns out there's an issue with the tool Steam needs on kernel 7.1, which is what we're running right now. So to fix this issue, we have to roll back an entire kernel version, which I really wish I would have known like 5 hours ago. You know what? I can't even complain. I signed up for this. I installed Linux. So when we're booting the Mac, we hold down Escape, and now we get the option to go back to this one. Alright, at least we got that situated, but I'm actually going to go back to KDE. I'm installing the desktop environment right now, because playing with the brightness on GNOME, yeah, it's kind of busted. Alright, so let's change to Plasma. Alright, now we pop up Terminal, make sure we're on the right kernel. We 100% are, so Steam has to work now. Please, please don't quit, I'm begging you. It works! It fucking works! Thank you! Alright, so yeah, that's 6 hours troubleshooting an issue, and like 10 minutes using the actual operating system itself. It sounds like Linux. Okay, and now Steam's stuck on waiting for network. I can't get a fucking break with this thing, can I? Yippee! More research I gotta do. So we found a Reddit thread, there's a bunch of patches, blah blah blah. Let me apply it. Run this command. It says it patched okay, so now we can just copy this and run it. And after patching it, finally we have success. Steam is now working, and this actually isn't the built-in one from like DNF. I did like the hacky ARM64 version, so we're just gonna get the best performance possible. This took me forever, and I want to save you guys the trouble, so if you want to do this yourself, go to this page to download the ARM64 version, follow all these steps right here. Then you're gonna want to go to this page and follow this guy's guide at the very end here. You want to make this script with Ruby, patch it using these, and launch the ARM64 version with these arguments. I've been waiting for this moment on Apple Silicon for so long, dude. I've tried playing Half-Life on this machine, only got like 45 FPS, so I want to see what this could really do. Or actually, let me specify, 45 FPS by using crossover. This is actually going to be native. Aw, hell yeah, man. We're breaking out the gaming mouse for this one. I'm really hoping this is as good as I think it is. What? Did it just crash? Okay, maybe we gotta like do something with Proton? Let's see, Proton 11.0. Or actually, wait a sec, I think it's downloading the wrong version of Proton 11.0. We gotta go into Tools and manually download the ARM64 build. Let's see if it works now. Oh, it's launching! Let's see what kind of performance we get with this online. This is perfect. We're getting a damn near locked 60 FPS at the max native resolution of 1600. Now keep in mind, I tried the same thing on crossover, couldn't break like 45 on that thing. Oh, and yeah, hold on, I know what you smartasses are gonna say in the comments. Just use the native ARM64 build! Yeah, that doesn't really have Steam networking support, so not interested. And on the KDE performance setting, we're estimated around 5 hours of gaming time on this thing. Alright, this is fun and all, but let's try something a bit more demanding with Counter-Strike 2. Uh-oh, CS2 crashed, and we got a memory shortage avoided message. Consider closing unused application. I'm not using anything. Maybe that just happened because I didn't run it with Proton. Let's try that again. Okay, it seems to be launching. Is there any way we can make this like full screen or... Oh, there you go, it crashed. Actually, wait a sec. What the hell is using 4.6 gigs of RAM with nothing open? Alright, let's try this out one more time. I'm gonna restart the computer, see what happens. The game actually didn't crash this time, so I reduced the settings to 720p. All low, we're gonna see what we can get. What? You will not be allowed to join VAC Secure. Why does it matter? VAC doesn't work anyways. Alright, shit, I guess we'll disable Proton and try again. Alright, we're actually able to matchmake now. It's kind of taken a while, but... Oh, wait, it hasn't even progressed past a second? Alright, yeah, that's about it for Counter-Strike 2. I'm just gonna say it doesn't work. Okay, so clearly when it comes to gaming on Asahi Linux, it's a very mixed bag. When it comes to newer stuff like CS2, honestly, you're better off with macOS and crossover, but when it comes to games like, say, Half-Life, maybe even like, say, Team Fortress 2, this is honestly better. Anyways, I'm glad the thing can game, but can it actually handle my daily workflow? First off, is there a Discord client for this? I'm actually not seeing any. I mean, these are all third-party clients, which I guess will do the same job, but what about the official one? There was an issue during the installation process. Transaction failure. Alright then, third-party client it is. Let's see, we got Goofcord, Datcord. Wonderful names, you you got here? Cool, it's downloaded. Let's launch Goofcord. Damn, man, for an app called Goofcord, I really wasn't expecting much, but it feels just like the official client. It's very responsive, you can join voice calls just fine, and the microphone goes through just fine. You know, I don't really like the platform, but Discord's used for everything nowadays, so having that working is really important. Next up, I'm about to commit blasphemy, but I don't really like Firefox. I actually like Brave, and yes, it's got a bunch of like crypto stuff shoved in there, but you can turn it off. And it seems like Brave is supported on ARM64 platforms, so let's see if it runs here. You know, this is a bit of a side tangent, but if I was like daily driving Linux, I would use like Fedora Atomic or some sort of immutable distro with DistroBox. I really don't like messing with the system files. And now hopefully Brave should just pop up just like that, right? Yeah, there we go. I went into this expecting there not to be a lot of support for like ARM64 Linux, but it turns out a bunch of stuff still works on this, even Roblox. I think that pretty much settles it. I'm sold on Asahi Linux. I'm gonna sound like an ad here for a few seconds, but the value here is insane. You can find these really premium laptops with faster speeds and better battery life than anything in the 330 range. And the one downside with this purchase being that macOS is gonna drop support for it in like 2 years is completely nullified by the existence of Asahi Linux. If I was gonna daily drive this laptop though, my number one complaint still stands: no external USB-C display support. On the bright side, it does say work in progress, so there is a possibility where they figure out how to fix it and put it into the kernel. But me personally, if I had to use Linux and I wanted ARM64, I would just get the MacBook Pro M1 Pro, because that laptop actually has a physical HDMI out and is supported by Asahi Linux. That upgrade is gonna run you an extra $300 compared to the Air M1, but that feature is such a big deal for me, I think it's worth it. I think that'd be a good note to end the video on, but because it's Linux, we're never done tinkering with this. I want to install a window manager, which is pretty much like a lighter version of the desktop environment we got here, just to optimize resources to see if we can maybe run Counter-Strike 2 again. I really want it to work. Huh, okay, that's kind of weird. Even in this minimal environment, we're still using like 2 gigs of RAM on what? Whatever, it's 2 less than KDE. Let's fire up Steam, fire up CS2. And, damn it, game crashed again. So the moral of the story here is just to play classic Source Engine games. They're more fun and they run better. Oh, and actually, speaking of which, the performance here is way better than Crossover. I was getting like 120 on Crossover Mac OS on this M1 Air, and now I'm getting like, what, 400 max? This is really making me want to buy like an M2 Max MacBook Pro and test out more games. What? God damn it. This thing's barely getting warm playing this game anyways, but I think that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching. Let me know down in the comments, do you want to see more stuff revolving around like say Linux and PC? Because I got a bunch of GPUs on my hand that I'd love to try out. I got this one, it's like an RX 550 4GB, pretty good budget card. You got a GT 730 and I probably have a 1030 lying around here somewhere. But anyways, I'll see you later.